play best of 3 sets and then some race to 4. While the exhibition match is taking place, there'll be around with some raffles, guys, too.
We do know a bunch of the big ones next year.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to do? You trying
Or draft.
Oh, is that Rob Bowen?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from Mojo's in Ballarat, and we are not far away off kicking off an exhibition match with #1 in the world, Mick Hill, and arguably #1 in Australia, Jake McCartney. They're playing 3 sets, each one race to 4. And for those that have been wondering, why hasn't there been any live streams lately and what's going on, where's Dan Lynch? Well, Dan Lynch has been taking a holiday overseas. He's had an absolute cracker time from what I've seen, and he is back in full force now, starting with today. Tomorrow we kick off, Friday, we'll be kicking off Big Guns money matches. There'll be Jake McCartney will be playing Stephen Dempsey from Ireland, who this will be his first time in Australia, I believe. Very good money player from Ireland, and I think they're playing for 4,000, and doubles, or sort of a Davis Cup match with Rusty Wheeler and Justin Sage playing Mark Robertson and Nick Skerry. I'm not actually sure exactly what the money's worth for that one. I'm sure I'll get messages to tell me, but it's not a small amount, let's put it that way. They'll each play each other in singles, and if it becomes a draw, they'll play a Scotch doubles match to decide the winner. I think both matches will be live streamed. I'm not 100% sure what the deal is. There was a bit of a Facebook banter going around about Robbo not wanting the live stream taken off him, but we'll work it out on the day, says Dan. Just some final preparations being made. I think Jake's might even have a warm-up hit, because Mick's been having a hit on this table for the last 3 days. And that's about the standard Jake's playing at right now, that ball he just missed. And he still beats half the people in Australia. But for those that don't know, Jake's certainly not one to make up excuses for himself, and I'm not making excuses for him either, but he has had a shocking run with injury. He's hurt his back at work. He has a...
now race to 5. If it goes to a third set, it's just a race to 3.
So I'll update you on that in a sec. They're now actually playing 2 sets race to 5, and if it goes to a third, they'll play a race to 3. So anyway, quite a while ago, Jake McCartney was involved in a pretty serious car accident as well, had some hand surgery and that stuff, and he got a giant hand spasm happen for the first time he's ever had the other day, which is just part of the injury just reoccurring, and so he was in quite a bit of pain with that. He's had a lot of stuff going on with his life, obviously run the business and stuff, and so he's not actually had the preparation, I would say, that he would have liked to go into this Dempsey match. But one thing I do know about Jake, he has the resolve to beat all odds. But that's post after the match. No, I'll do a post one. So yeah, just after the matches are finished, guys, just stay tuned. If you recalled last year, I did some post-match interviews with both players, so I'll be doing that again. Just ask a few questions and just get in their heads a little bit. Mick, previous to this, did do a bit of a Q&A just to wrap it up. give you a quick rundown. He was asked a question about if he uses, because he's playing a lot of Chinese 8-ball lately, he was asked a question of whether he uses the same cue or not, and basically he doesn't. He uses a Predator 9-ball cue, but he has decided to split his calendar year up in events, so he'll play the Chinese pool sort of 5 months of the year, and normal 8-ball the other 5 months of the year. Also asked some questions about what drills he does. Asked some questions also, which was a bit of a contentious one, about the 2020 clock and what his opinion of it was. And, well, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but he pretty much threw it under the bus and said it was a rubbish rule, a rubbish idea, and I'm sure that'll upset a lot of the people that are all for the 2020. But he did make some very valid points. But we'll kick off this match now. McCartney won the lag by about a foot. But breaks and a bit dry. Now, one thing you will notice on this, I reckon the table's running a little slower than what you'll see over the course of the next 6 days. Cloth's a touch worn, but pockets are pretty generous on these tables, and I think we'll see a pretty aggressive game. And Mick has not a single ball touching one another here, and as you can see, they're lining up probably the most difficult ball on the table, and wants to give himself an angle where he can swing around. Probably play for it now off this ball, just stun back. Yep, he's overplayed it a little bit. Not sure if he can get through to it or not. If he can't, he's actually giving himself a bit of a trickier shot. Wanted that, well, you saw him lining it up with his cue. He wanted to be sort of fairly in line with the white and the red, and then he could just swing the white ball off 2 rails and get back up to the business end of the other 5 reds. But it must be fair, that's not a good opening shot from Mick. Not often you see him not on a string. So it has to take the more difficult pot. Or just career into the black nicely and hold for the ball in the middle while he's actually missed it. Now Jake's chance to take first blood here, and I tell you what, good opportunity. Does have this ball in the middle, and I think he's got angle to come down to the centre of the table. Try and probably land on one of the 2 that are just sort of in the centre of the tables next to each other. And he'll want to get dead straight on that ball on the cushion to run it down the cushion. And, oh, that's just wiped his feet. That's not an amazing shot. So it's a shaky start for both players. But yeah, well, Jake's actually playing this ball now. Don't be surprised if this goes over the hole. Yeah, that's, well, it's just managed to hold. And he's actually got a lot of control now, Jake. Don't think his intentions were to pot that, because, as you can see, he's got a pretty good wide as well. Looks like Mick's got to swerve this a touch to try and create the potting angle. Actually, just in hindsight there, I actually think he's tried to hit that on the right-hand side of the red and take the white ball to the bottom cushion. But he has got a snooker, so maybe that was exactly his plan after all. Hard to know exactly without being in the head of him, but Jake's got a pretty good return safety here as well. And he's actually tried to straighten that right up and land behind the 2 yellows that he's just glided by. Still not too bad. Mick's actually in real trouble here. I don't think he can get to the potting angle. Not sure if he's considering just smashing this red off the back rail and trying to get a result. To me, that's suicide. But when you're in a position of huge trouble as it is, sometimes it's not a bad option. But I'm sure he's going to try and hide this white ball off left side cushion in behind the 2 reds. This pot might, there's the shot that I was talking about. In behind the 2 reds, he's got the pot. Now we may see a little snooker come up here. Just stun this right behind, hard behind the red, just like that. Jake wasn't impressed with that. And that actually just highlights the importance of the shot that Jake played, where he tried to just play with a lot of right hand side and come in between those two yellows and not get the shot, not execute the shot perfectly, when you're playing against someone of a high level, they can put you back in quite a bit of trouble. Now, Jake's got a huge area that he can hit here and has no trouble there negotiating a path to find a yellow. Once again, we'll probably try and, I don't know, it looks like he might actually be having a bit of a dip here. Well, that's not a good shot. I think Jake can get through to the plant at the top end of the table. I think he'll take it on. May jack up a touch and can the red, but odds on he'll just make the pot be on the other one that's near the hole. Well, he's opted to not do that. Don't think he executed that exactly how he wanted to either, but still making a lot of trouble. Just checking now to see whether we can pot the yellow over the pocket and cover the two reds. Initially, just by looking at what I can see on screen, the answer is no, he can't. But I'll tell you what Jake has done. As you can see Mick there just seeing if he can get behind this red. There is a red that's on the left-hand side, bottom left-hand side of the table, the one that's furthest from the cushion. If he can get an angle on that, punch that in, white ball comes off the left side cushion, up off the back, you'll be playing with some right-hand side, up off the back cushion and basically into that red. Now, yes, it's a very difficult shot, but it would give him an opportunity to win the frame. He may not have a lot of other choices right now. He is really eyeing this off. To me, it doesn't look like it goes, but if he's playing it, then it must cover. So let's find out. Oh no, he's gone for the double. What a sensational shot. Good effort. I didn't even see that shot. That's how good I am at this game now. So absolutely no reason in the world why Jake would not get this frame now. Well, that's been underhit a little. Should still be okay, but would have liked the white ball to travel another foot just so he was pretty straight on this plant. But he's going to take it clean, which is probably the smartest thing to do here. No problems there. So this is just a plain ball off the rail shot. He'll probably put a little bit of topspin on it just to straighten himself up on this black, get centre table. Might stun off two. This is much a preference shot for players, so he's going to stun off two. It's actually one of the interesting shots to watch players' preference, because that was one of those shots where you can actually play it with top and maybe just a trace of left-hand side to get to the same spot, whereas a lot of other players prefer to stun off two. Me personally, it all comes down to how I'm cueing. If I feel like I'm cueing really well and I'm getting through the ball well, I'll stun off two. If I feel like I'm not cueing amazing, then I'm more likely to just use that one rail and just a little bit of topspin. But yeah, one feels when they're cueing really well and they're getting through the ball really well, that playing those stuns they're basically automatic position when you feel like you're really flying. Really good break there from Mickey. Kept the white ball very centre table. It just got bumped by another ball, but once again a dry break. No, I can't see. He has pot of yellow. Now, not an easy starter other than this one in the corner, but this problem yellow top end of the table it may actually make him want to take reds, but even reds are ugly. So you can see him eyeing off this yellow. So how do I get on this? Can I land on a spot on the table where I will be on it straight away? These two yellows bottom right hand side of the table as well don't look like they they pass one another, or you can get on one to go to the bottom right, so you'd need to get on one of them to the left first. He's actually opted for reds, I think, because he feels he can probably develop more down the bottom end of the table, these other two reds. It'd be nice to know what his ultimate decision, reasoning for his decision there. They're both not, they're both a little ugly. He hasn't played that well. That was supposed to be a fairly full contact. He's caught it about half ball and it's made it go into the yellow. If he catches it full, it bounces off the bottom cushion, avoids the yellow and comes back out centre table. Interesting position now. He may be interested to see if he actually just covers up here, because there's no point just belting it out. It's not going to help. He could lose the frame from there, so you may see him just try and cover up here. I really don't mind this red over the pocket in the bottom left-hand side of the table. Yeah, I think he is just going to cover up though. Oh no, he's kicked it out. He's basically said, I don't rate you, McCartney. You're no good. You won't go out. And leaves him the ball in the middle, which I don't think it quite cannons these two yellows at the bottom. It might just go to the left-hand side of them. It's hard to tell from the camera. Oh, I'll tell you what, I've just got up and had a look at this. It's pretty close. I reckon it might just flick the left-hand side of the yellow if he pots it clean. If you can actually pinch a touch of the pocket, it would probably cannon it, but adds risk to missing the pot. Jake doesn't like it. Actually, if Jake's not taking the ball in the middle, it tells me that it's definitely not cannoning. Although it still does surprise me. You take the ball in the middle, if it doesn't get the cannon, you go up and down, you land on this ball in the top corner anyway. So this surprises me a little. Not a huge fan of that shot. Let's give Mick a chance. Even these two reds down the bottom here look pretty ugly. But bottom line is you can get behind them and they're potable. Not sure if this red in the centre of the table that near the yellow goes in the middle. Actually, yeah, just looking at it now, it definitely goes. And here's the shot right now. He may just play for a little cannon on these. Well, does this ball go to the corner? If this ball goes to the corner, it's actually huge. He lands high on it, gives himself an angle to just bump the other red down. Might have the angle here to bump it down. This looks good. The only thing I didn't like about that choice instead, even though he didn't have to do anything with the white, he actually has to land perfectly now on this red that he's about to cannon, because I don't think he'll be on the other one. Just checking now, Mick's basically saying, well, okay, if I don't get the cannon right, will I have a shot at this ball in the middle? I think he's decided, yes, I do. So there's the little cannon. He's missed the pot, but I'll tell you what, right now, that's his best result. Unless it's a much more simple pot in the middle than it looks here on screen. Has a lot of control at the moment. The interesting here though is if Jake can actually just pinch a bit off this and screw just past the yellow and get an angle to stun across to the right hand side of the table behind these two yellows, he might be looking good. Just looks to me like the angle's going away from it though. He might not be able to do it. You can tell he wants to do it. Maybe he could use the black to straighten up. So this angle here looks like he's got to stun off a side rail. He doesn't want to be straight on this. He wants a little bit of angle to drift back down the right-hand side of the table off this ball up the top cushion. And that looks pretty good. Probably under hit a touch. Probably want to be another foot across the table so he could play plain ball and just glide down the table. To me, it looks like he's got a bit too much angle. Also has this ball in the bottom left here. A very good angle to stun right across in behind these yellows. I'll tell you what, this camera angle that Dan's given has made Jake's bald spot look enormous. That is not small anymore. And that is a very good shot. It was an excellent shot. Two times. And if it's a draw, race to 3. We're playing 2 races to 5. And if they get one all, they'll play one more race to 3. Just for the viewers, the great Kate McCartney's just walked in the door. She's come to support the brother Jake. And Jake wants to sort of land pretty much where he's right now for this last yellow. He just hasn't. That was obviously really straight. Tried to force it, and now he could be in that area that we don't like without a paddle. Not sure if we can get enough purchase on this to actually pot it and get the white ball in a position where he can pot his last. It's a pretty tricky shot. He's tried. It was a heaps. Actually, you know what? If he'd have actually cut the ball correctly there, he would have widened the angle a bit, but he might have cannoned the red. Probably his best result. Gives him. It basically makes Mick work a little bit harder to make this out. That natural angle pot here to land on his dodgy red. Tell you what, he's given that a chance to miss. This isn't straightforward. Needs to play this with the 2 rail shot I spoke about earlier, or side. Well, he's gone everywhere with that, and I tell you what, he's okay. And making light work of this now. Not going to see Mick Hill miss that. And that is 1-all. So a couple of unexpected mistakes early from both players. Look, they're not playing for $1 million or anything. This is an exhibition match, so I don't think the stress levels are too high, but still obviously want to put on a good performance. And I don't think Mick will want to lose to Jake because, you know, he could run into him in the big guns draw, and he doesn't want Jake to have that extra belief. And this time a ball off the break for Jake, and big spread. He will immediately say reds. I think. Pretty sure he will. Trickiest ball on the table for Jake, and this is going to be the black. Geez, that wiped its feet as well. But as I said, the pockets are relatively generous, especially when you're hitting them in from centre table into the jaws. They tend to just flick in nicely. I'm actually not sure which ball he's played for there because he's actually landed slightly no man's land. I mean, it's not panic stations or anything, but he's just not landed perfect. I think he actually tried to stun for the ball in the middle that he's playing now and just try and be pretty straight on it. And so he could have actually stunned back a touch and then just have a natural angle just to flick the black off the cushion and still be on the red, on the centre. But at the end of the day, he doesn't need to do that. If he gets behind this black, he'll knock it in. So this has become a little bit more interesting because if he does choose to play the bottom red last, he's going to have to play like a bit of a semi-stun, slight sort of deep screw shot where he's actually got to avoid the in-off and also land, you know, fairly close to the rail. This is actually a much more difficult shot than he probably would have liked to have been left. He may actually try and come off the bottom rail as well, but I can see him screwing across for this. He's played that really, really well. Still expecting to pot this. I can tell you right now, you line that shot up at home, you know, for the guys that are sort of, you know, on the up and coming. That's a lot more difficult shot than you think to play. A lot of the time you'll underscrew it or you'll overscrew it in off or you'll just hit the cover off it instead of controlling the white. Now, I don't know if people remember Jake last year. He was shocking in the old exhibition match last year. Probably had a bit of factor, but Jake's not used to being factored because he's factoring everyone else. But this year he looks pretty comfortable, and given that he really hasn't put jack time into the game in the last probably 2 months, he's looking decent out there.
Jake leads 2-1.
Big break that from Mick. Gets a very friendly little flick there off the white to make that yellow go in. But look at what he's left himself. Basically nothing. And you can see the smile on his face. There's a bit of a wry smile going, oh, would you believe your luck? Can you believe I've broken them that well and I've landed in just Dodgiesville? I assume he's nominated yellows. Looks like he may have to swerve this a bit, does he? Doesn't like it, going back to it, maybe look at the double. No, he's going to play the little swerve. Actually, the way he's hitting this, it's going side rail, is he? This camera angle, damn, must be deceiving as hell. Looks like he's just, oh, he's going the reds. I was going to say, it looks like he was trying to pot the yellow without being able to pot it. I really liked the yellows there, but I guess, yeah, getting to one was the real tricky part. And I must say, Mick also did comment that he's never been one to put hours and hours of practice in a day. And he did make comment that he doesn't play as much as what he used to either practice-wise as much as some of these guys. And when he's in China, they have boot camps and crazy pool and snooker schools where they're forced to play hours and hours and do drills, and they're not allowed to do anything until they finish them. And that is just an absolute shocker from McCartney. I'll tell you what that shot is right there. That is a shot you cannot do against a world-class player, because that's the sort of shot that I play against Jake and then I lose from it. And this is the same sort of, this is like Jake's version of that. And for those looking for a little bit of eye candy at home, if you just cast your eyes to the left there of Mick Hill, what a glamour. What's going on here? Is this still open table and I've just not realised? Well, that was an absolute shocker from Jake, because this is not that hard an out. Not sure if this black goes. Mick's just hanging some shit on him. I was saying, you didn't play the pot there, you're playing the cover, but it was open table. Just wondering if this black goes or not. You know, if you get high on the reds, whether you can clear the red easy enough for the black to go clean. I think it will. But this is the key shot coming up right now. I see Mick playing this ball on the right hand side of the table and pretty much screwing back to sort of where he is now. Or running, if he's got the angle, run through and get on this bottom cushion. That's probably the worst of all the yellows, that one on the bottom cushion there. So maybe get on that one first. Just depends on his angle. He either got a bad kick or he cued it horrible. He looks at the camera, does the old look at the nowhere thing. He's got. I think I've got a bit of that going on sometimes when I can't believe something that's happened. But I'll tell you what, he's missed that ball, whether it be by a kick or just a shocker, and he's got a bit of cover though. Could have gone anywhere, that yellow, so he'll cop it. Jake going for the aggressive cannon now. Gets one, probably, wow, that's probably a bit unlucky. But does this sneak under? To be honest, I don't want this to go in this red. I want this to go over the pocket. Jake, this obviously isn't, the black's obviously not going clean. Jake gets 20 seconds called on him. The way he's played that shot tells me there's no way he could cut it across enough to get it near the hole because the black was in the way. So Mick now forced with the challenge of dealing with this dodgy yellow. If he even bothers, he might even just stick this over the hole, you know. To me, it's the percentage shot. And Mick says, yes, you're right, that is the percentage shot. I thought of it before you. These are the sort of positions where it doesn't look like you'll do too much damage if you don't play a good shot because there's a dodgy yellow, but it's actually how you can lose the frame if you play a poor shot. Now, obviously Jake wanted that further up the table and he wanted it over the hole. Worst result there could have been that if it went sort of near the side rail in a way where he could have popped the yellow off the red that he's just played. But it's fallen short, it's not too bad. Mick's still got to deal with this yellow. But the one thing you'll notice Jake didn't do, and that was just push the red up the other end of the table. Absolutely no point in pushing it up there at this point of the frame. There's nothing going on up there. It doesn't block anything. It doesn't help you. It just basically eliminates a soldier that you've got on the battlefield. There are situations in frames where pushing a ball up the top end of the table and putting it over the pocket is actually worthwhile when there's nothing else up there. But that generally happens when you have sort of intentions of pushing the black up there later on in the frame because it's just sort of how things are going. It can sometimes be a bit of an insurance type setup if the balls are really tight, a lot going on. So Mick's just thrown another cat amongst the pigeons there, and he's just tried to make things more difficult for Jake. Macca's just decided that he wants some camera time. And that's not a bad shot there from Jake. And amazingly, just what I spoke about earlier about how pushing a black up over a ball, I mean, obviously it was at the other end of the table, but it's quite ironic that it's actually come up a shot or two later and the shot gets played onto a ball over a pocket. And that's a very good shot from Mick. He's played the weight perfectly. I don't think the black goes in there, and I don't think it will kick out without potting the yellow very easily. Jake may be forced to find a way to, he may be forced to just pot the yellow. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what's wrong with potting the show over the hole and just forcing Mick to waste his first shot? Try and get this white ball as tight as you can to that yellow that's just above it. That's not easy to do from here, but at least try and make it so the pot itself would be really difficult. I don't think, to me, it doesn't look like there'd be a lot of value playing the other yellows. He could go up and down and smash him and try and open him up. I'm talking Mick here if Jake was to pot this ball. Geez, I don't like that shot. He's tried to pot the yellow there. And to me, it didn't look like it went. If it did, you had to play the black a lot thicker. And what Jake's just basically said there is, Mick, have a frame. Even though from here it doesn't look like it. Believe me, by the time Mick's finished his visit, he will not have dead yellows on the table. I still don't mind this up and down the table and going into these yellows. You're not going to pot the red. I think he's going to play the double, but I really like the shot I just suggested. Oh, look at this shot. Wow, talk about control. But still, the shot I said is on. Up and down the table, give it a belt. You have absolute control of this frame. You cannot lose the frame at the moment if you're on yellows. Unless that black goes inside the yellow, but to me, I don't reckon it does. It's in so deep in the pocket. You can see the jaw there, that it's sort of like past halfway in the jaw. He's going to play, oh, he's feathered the white, but he was playing the shot I suggested. But he's feathered the white. That's something you don't see every day. So what do you reckon? Do you reckon that black goes, folks? I'm going to stand up and have a look, but my call is no. I'm tempted, just as an exhibition match, I'm just tempted to walk out there in the middle of the thing with the headset on, have a bit of a close look. Do you think they'd mind, Dan? Right, after Jake plays his shot, I'm going to call a timeout. I'm going to go and have a look. So he's no good. So McCartney's already used 20 seconds. And this is my point about the 2020 rule. Sometimes you do need some thinking time. This is not a frame where you can go, oh, bang, I'll just do this in 20 seconds. I know 10 seconds doesn't sound like a lot extra time, but really it's 20. This is a tough spot. Jake, even if, like, the initial reaction is, oh, pot the yellow over the hole with the red. Right, but the thing is, you've got to not leave a foul snooker, and even if you do that, the pocket's just going to get taken over, or the yellows are going to get blasted out. You've still got to deal with this black, and that is the really big problem for Jake at the moment. And I really like this shot Jake's played, and this is the shot I thought of, but I couldn't say it quick enough. You're now putting the the red on the back of the black and potting the yellow, and it just makes the black not on. Tell you what, that's not bad. I don't have to go out in the middle of the table now and check the red and yellow, because Jake's dealt with that. Mick's got up, he's filthy with that. What a turnaround. And look, Jake's no tactical slouch, there's no doubt about that. Very, very good tactically. There's no way Mick can pot this yellow over the pocket. It's suicide. So I think we're going to see a foul. To be honest, I really don't mind Mick just playing the white off a couple of cushions and fouling. The problem is if Jake takes the pocket and manages to get the white high, then Mick's in real trouble. Can't be much more trouble than you are right now, though. This one visit. He's either going to kill the red or double it back across. He's definitely not happy with that. Now, if Jake actually can nestle that red in closer to the black and cover it, I don't think he can. I'm pretty sure the red just goes. So the shot here for me is to try and get yourself in a position where you can pot the eye of the pocket, take the white ball at the top end of the table, and give Mick 2 shots and say, well, you have to smash this and get a result to win the frame. So I think he's playing the top red. He's just going to try and create a little bit of separation with one of the reds. That's not bad. He definitely won't be leaving a foul snooker now if he decides to foul. And that is an excellent shot of Jake's helipad. I'll tell you what I'm going to do one day. I just haven't given much thought until now. I'm going to get a tape measure. One of those ones, not the ones that spring action ones, but ones where they're all flexible and you can just wrap them around things. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it around Jake's head. I'm going to measure it. And I dare say that his circumference is larger than any player in Australia. Weight to head ratio, the biggest in the world. Meanwhile, Jake has played an excellent shot, put Mick in oodles of trouble again. And I don't really see a simple solution here for Mick other than to just bury it in a little bit closer for now, just to stay in the frame. He's thinking maybe he can belt this out and blast them both out. So he's looking at playing the right hand red. If he can catch that sort of finish, play it at pace, that'll obviously career onto the other red and he'll try and blast them both out. The real risk he has here is the yellow coming off the red, sliding across the table, potting the black. And Donnie's had the nerve to come over me and say, how long has this frame been going for? When I just watched Donnie last night play a 45-minute frame in our team, in our local comp. I'm not kidding, it was like 45 minutes. So I think he's playing the shot I said, but he's just got to be careful not to catch the red thin. There you go. So he's not caught it thin, he hasn't popped the black. But he's still in a world of hurt. There was no way that yellow wasn't going over that side of the table. Now can Mick get this yellow over the pocket? Well, he might be playing the triple here. Triple on the yellow, up and down. No. Well, I think he's not happy with that. What I think he's tried to do there is cannon the red fairly full, so it hits the black and puts the black over the hole and cuts the red off. I'm sure the viewers at home right now have got so many different opinions and shot selections. And look, no doubt some of them probably better than mine too. It's an excellent frame for discussion and learning. And I don't mind the occasional frame like this to commentate because it just gets you thinking, gets people at home talking about, oh, I do this and I do that. What do you do that shot for? That's a stupid shot. But it's all a good learning process. Good shot there from Jake. And I'll tell you what, he will take a 3-1 lead. A bit of premature claps there. If they think he's going to pot this black. So 3-1 to the head. Jake may have decided that he doesn't want to play 3 sets. He just wants to play 2 and just get it over and done with. And you can just see Mick's face there right now. He's like, well, you didn't get a ball, but you left me a pretty crappy spread. And just needs to solve an early riddle. Just checking availability of this yellow, because I think it's the only one that bothers him. Possibly the yellow that's on the right-hand side of the table, sort of near the middle. I mean, it will plant onto this yellow near the pocket, but it needs to be hit very well. Now, I'll promise you right now, Mick is not happy with that shot. And the reason I say that is he would have wanted that yellow that he's just played to not be on the cushion. He would have wanted it off the rail and more accessible from more areas of the table. Now, I'm not even sure if this yellow that's sort of near the red in the bulk area is actually on to the top right-hand corner. Wow, that is the first time in my life I've ever seen Mick Hill grab the pinkest bag he can find and just throw it at the balls. He has just handbagged that. Very uncharacteristic. But he's having a bit of a chuckle to himself there. He gave me the eyebrow. Now it's Jake's turn to manufacture. And I'm pretty confident that red up in that bulk area does go. If you get behind it. You need to get fairly behind it though, like pretty nice and straight. Dodgy ball here really is this one top right there, just sitting close to the cushion. Oh, well, that's okay. That's what he's played for. He's playing for this red up in the top left. This will be a bit of a, well, in or over type shot. We'll want it to go in, trust me there. But it will sit. No, it will go. It will, oh, wow. How is that sat that deep and not going in? That's crazy. But I don't think Jake would have been too fussed if it did go in, because he would have fancied himself there for the clearance. And then it drops. That just proves just how deep that is in the pocket there, that just a little step has made it drop in. Mick said, I'm potting. Wow, I think he's copped a bit of a roll there. But he still managed to pot the red. But I have to wonder whether he wanted to pot that clean and land hard up on the yellow, so only the bottom ball here was available. That's not played well. I'm actually pretty surprised he played that shot. But then again, if you try and play this ball in the bottom of your dead weight, and it does go in, you don't leave yourself an amazing shot afterwards either. I actually have to question myself now on whether that red in the ball area does actually go, because if it doesn't, then potting the ball over the pocket is certainly valid, because it's a tough out. Oh, that's not amazing. He needs to be able to get that white out of this ball. I think he's going to have to play the ball into the pocket. But I could be wrong. Might play this one sort of centre near the ball line, but doesn't really offer anything afterwards, and he really needs to get deal with his dodgy ball near the yellow. Now the path I see is pot this one, screw back and get on the one that's on just sort of where his arm is now. So that's good. And then you're basically giving yourself an angle where you're just going to be able to run through and get on that red, but you want to be low on it, or as low as it will allow you to be, so you can stun for the middle, or if it does go nicely down the pocket, bottom pocket where the yellow is either off the yellow or clean, then be happy to play in the corner. So this makes me wonder what's really on and what's not right now. So that's, to me, that's no good. He's actually got into that a bit too much. Wanted to be straight on this red, but he's landed in no man's land. It's a big double coming up here, and he needs to straighten the white up too. Well, he's gone around the angles, but he's just flicked the yellow. High risk, low percentage shot, and pays the price. And I am going to make the call now that this will be 3-2 unless McCartney pulls out a giant jag. Could he get enough purchase on this to maybe flick it off the yellow in the middle? Once again, high risk, low percentage. And no dice. Totally side topic. Anyone loves their baseball out there, get on the Yankees tomorrow. They're going to win. Good shot that from Mick Hill. Freeze the black up to eliminate any doubt of it not being available. We'll have to put a fair bit of right-hand side on this to swing around. And you saw it really dart off that bottom cushion. A lot of side on it. And once again, you got to say, Mick Hill, still no danger here, you would think, but not on a string. Not nicely sort of behind balls for easy transitions. Has to keep using a bit of side and running it off too. But all good now. That's a lovely shot. And that will be 3-2. And Mick just gives Jake a quick, you idiot, you should have played it this way.
Jake leads 3-2.
Jesus, we've been brought pizza out. Can I resist? The answer is no. I can tell you didn't make it, mate. It's not, it isn't burnt. Big break there from Mick again. Order of the day, I'm guessing, will be yellows, mainly because a bit more going on around the black. And really the dodgy yellow is the one just above the black there. But he's got so many yellows in the area. He can give himself an angle just to either flick it out a little bit. So he's got that one in the middle where he could choose to flick onto it, but really the ideal ball is the one to the left of the black that's more central to the table. If you can get an angle on that, to just flick the bottom of the yellow, and it just pushes it just enough past the red so it'll go to the centre. Wow. And I really have to question why he took that ball first. But and I'll tell you the other thing too, that, oh wow. And a couple of axes have come out and just chopped up. We have got 111 viewers. That is not a bad turnout for a simple exhibition match. But well, that's actually probably the worst 2 shots in a row we've seen so far in this match. Just subsequent misses that probably should have both been pot. And now once again, can Mick punish the mistake from McCartney? McCartney failed to do so and has returned serve and says, Mick, I don't want this frame, so I want you to have first go and get to 3-all. Well, he's not taking a ball on. Oh, pretty clever shot that from Mick. He's just shut the door on that black and the red down the bottom cushion. And not really left Jake much at all to go for. And Mick's in a very good position. And like, this is sort of a sucker shot where that dead red near the middle pocket, you sort of want to play it because you want to bring it in play. You want to sort of take it to the top corner. But all that does is free up the only yellow on the table that's sort of half dodgy. That's not a good shot either from Jake, and well, safe to say that this is not Jake's best frame. So Mick's now going to just get this black out as well as take a pot on. If he gets it, he'll win the frame. Oh no, he's just decided to play the little billiard shot. Clever shot. And, well, when you've got 5 balls pretty much all in the middle of the table and nothing obstructing them, you would expect a player that has world championships under their belt to not miss. And I think barring a thunderous kick, he probably won't. and he's just going through the motions on this easy clearance. And that 3-1 lead is now gone, and much attributed to a couple of very poor shots. Now, can McCartney rack, break, clear? The crowd has called it, apparently. They have said Jake McCartney does not miss that many shots in a row, then not break and clear. I'm going to tip he dumps the white. Oh, I'm wrong. He's dumped a couple of yellows, and he's just got a... I think he's got a red. I think he's on the reds on the bottom cushion there. Tell you what, if that had been me calling Benny Noonan that break, that was $1.03 to going off. Huge chance to run here too. The crowd may have called the correct call and said rack run. I actually don't see him missing these. Well, I know if he was playing me, he'd already be halfway through his out by now. I reckon he'll get rid of the ball in the middle now. No, doesn't like it. He's got a good angle here to stun across this other one, or he might just... Yeah, he's stunned across. Oh, is this on? Yes, it is. I'm surprised he's played for the plant here. Oh, this is amazing. We've had a couple of people have been watching the commentary clearly. Paul Hucker's just brought in a tape measure for me. So I am actually officially going to measure Jake's head at the end of these matches. I'm going to measure it. And I'm going to measure Mick Hill's as well, because his head's not that big. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do mine first while I'm here, because I have not actually got a big head at all. I've got a really small head. And I found this out by when I put on headsets, I always have to adjust it to the smallest setting. So my head is small. I'm just going to take this headset off for a second. Centimetres. Right, my head circumference, and this is going from the top of the head under the chin and back around again, is 65 centimetres. Now, I would like some opinions out there from people. I want people to send me a guess, or send Dan a guess, or put it in the live chat. What is Jake McCartney's circumference of his head going to be when I measure it? From the top of the head, under the chin and around again. I'm going to make my call. I haven't seen anyone guess yet, but I'm going to say he is probably about 88. As Mick Hill runs another rack. Well, look at the side on that. He's just checked that up to the hills. Mick, yep. So on the hill is Hill, and no one gets sick of that joke. I actually cannot believe Paul Harker has brought in the tape measure for me to do this, but I think it's good for Paul that we find out the circumference of Jake McCartney's head. Actually, I'll tell you what, I've got someone else here, I reckon, who definitely has a larger head than me. Come here, Russ. Just going to do Jamie Murray's circumference. How'd you do this? Hang on. I want to do it this way because he's got like 6 chins. Right. Holy shit, Muzzer is 90. Oh, hang on, what? Oh, hang on, I've done it the wrong way. That was in inches.
That's where I did yours.
Yeah, but it starts at nothing.
No, you didn't.
Can you do it for me? I'm not a good... Okay, we've just discovered I'm not a good head measurer. I may have to call Beck Hucker in to be the official head measurer. Oh, so Muzzer's got me covered by 1 centimetre. I'll tell you what, 88 might be too big a call. He might only be about 76. Anyway, back to the action. Jack's missed the cannon on that red. And, well, I think he's got this ball in the middle. Oh, someone else is called 76. Pool Capital, whoever that is called 76 as well after I've readjusted my figure. I'll tell you what, Pool Capital, you might be on the money there. I reckon that's a pretty good guess. But 10 centimetres just doesn't sound like much with a head that big. Not sure if this red centre table goes to the right middle or not. May be forced to take the thinner cut, but I'll tell you what, I don't know why he doesn't take this ball bottom left here. Back yourself, McCartney. You know that this is the ball you'd normally knock in. This is flying all over the place this way. He's got to try and check the hell out of it. Don't like this shot. Well, he's got the sickest result of all time. I can promise you right now he did not play exactly for that. I reckon he's tried to just come off the side rail and just get back centre table. But it's happened and he's still going. And this is thin as well, so once again the white ball will be difficult to navigate and control perfectly. I think he might cannon this red as well, does he? No, he picks the gap. And, well, once again, not landed perfect. Still tricky, this. Probably see Jake play this to the top left. Stun off a side rail and try and land pretty much where he is now. Now in playing that shot, he'll probably have to play it with a touch of right-hand side so the white doesn't travel down table, like so he doesn't lose it a bit. The right-hand side will just check it back up off the side rail and straighten it back towards this end of the table. There's a good action there of Jake's really, really loose grip that he has. Well, he's actually got into that a bit too much. You saw the white ball really grip. He probably wanted to stun it a little bit more, punch it probably a little bit harder as well. But he's still okay. He's got a shot at this. And that's all you want in this position because he's been all over the shop this far. And he's dragged this in, but he's missed the pot. And once again, Mick Hill, opportunity. Oh, Tanaskovic has come in with the conservative 69 guess. What a surprise that is. Oh, so Pool Capital is actually Long Dong. What's going on, Long Dong? I saw you wrote up a good write-up about me that said I won the Western National Tournament. Good job, mate. Very appreciative of that. With my deserved ranking seeding of 21 after winning the Western National. But I think he was referring to the satellite. Mick's taking a fair bit of time on this shot just to map the out. And that made a very nice brrrt sound. And a very good angle here. Now, this is very key, this shot. See how he's aiming this? He either wants to, I don't think he wants to hit this obviously down the rail. So there's two ways to play this. It's cushion first in yellow to flick it out, or half ball at a bit of pace. He's opted for the half ball at pace. Good cueing required here. Very nicely done. He just smashes that in. White ball does not move. And once again, don't see any issues for Mick Hill here. A player of his calibre.
When he plays all by himself, he pops all the balls in when he's playing in competition. He sometimes misses.
I've got Supercoach 5000 analysis here telling me that Mick Hill does miss. And you are right, he does. He is human. But he will not miss right now. The only people I see miss this particular pot is Mark Robertson. No, I'm just kidding. Mark doesn't miss those either. And that is the set. So that's the first set.
First set to Mick 5-3.
And I think Jake threw that away. 3-1 up to lose 5-3.
Just roll this first round. This is the $10 one.
I'll tell you what, when this head measurement comes in, if his head comes in under mine somehow, I don't know, I don't think it's possible, but if it does, it could actually ruin one of the greatest ongoing pool jokes that's ever happened. So Mick Hill now is just drawing a raffle that's been going around the room for a pool cue, I believe. I'll tell you what, I can't believe how many times 21 comes up. And Donnie Colbert has won the raffle. Don Colbert has won the raffle. So basically that cue will no longer have a tip on it. So Donnie's won that cue. It's got a really big tip on it. That will be gone by tomorrow morning. I think Mick's going to sign it for him, and that will go in some. That'll get framed in Donnie's wall cabinet. That.
Still got about 10 or so on the $15 one, guys.
So brief intermission, as you can see, folks. Just to recap a little on that match. I felt the standard started off decent. Wasn't sort of too many missed balls. There was a good, strong tactical frame there in the middle. Mick's really buzzing about his performance there. I think he's missed more balls in that set than I've seen him miss an entire tournament. But yes, there was a frame there where they both missed a ball each in a row, and I think Jake even missed a ball straight after that again. And basically, yeah, I guess what you could say is that was just a complete abortion all around. And you can see Peter Knight there in the background. And Peter Knight has gone and got my Richmond jersey signed by Dustin Martin. So I'd like to personally thank Peter Knight on air for that. It's just a sensational result. Jaden D'Amica has asked the question, am I still commentating with Mick Hill with the doubles match? The answer is yes. I had a match scheduled for Friday, which I no longer have, so I'm pretty sure I'll be fully available. But if anyone wants to play me in a match on Friday, probably around about 6 o'clock, please message me on Facebook. It will be easy money for you. It's to measure Jake's head. Well, it's a metre, I think. I come in at 65. This is to measure your head. And Brad Baker has decided to don the headset and join me for a bit of a intermission chat.
Hey, Jamie, how did you see the first set? McCartney led 3-1.
I felt that it started off decent, and I thought that tactical frame that Jake turned around very well and won put him in good stead, but I thought he played pretty average in that second half of that match, and I didn't think Mick played great either, but he capitalised more on the mistakes that were made.
Good summation, I suppose. Thanks to Dan Lynch, I suppose. You've been thanking the great man already tonight, and also Mojo's, Toby Spratling and Jake for hosting this event tonight.
Absolutely, and another dry break.
And did you see who won the raffle?
I saw that Donny's won it, and I just commented earlier, I don't think that Q's going to have a tip on it by morning. But he got it signed, which I don't think he has any intention of using it.
You'll be interviewing both players after the match?
I will be, and I will be doing an official measurement of Jake's head.
You'll see you've got the tape measure.
Yeah, it got brought down for me by Paul Hucker. He was obviously tuned into the commentary before they got here.
Plenty of money matches around over the next few nights, isn't there, Jamie, with big guns just a couple of days away. Good hit out for most of these big names. Jake hasn't been playing a lot over the last few months, and Mick's had a very busy schedule.
Yeah, and I made comment that Jake's preparation for this Steve Dempsey match hasn't been ideal, but if anyone can overcome adversity, it will be Jake. And like I said, I'm not making excuses for Jake, and Jake is definitely not making excuses for himself, but I saw the preparation, and I was involved in the preparation that Jake put in for when he played Rusty for that 25,000, whatever it was, and that was some serious preparation, and I'm talking every aspect covered in preparing, and that includes hours of setting up balls and breaking them, like just the break alone. And none of that's gone on going into this match. So, you know, that preparation that he had there, I was very confident in Jake winning that match.
And Mick made the in the Q&A before the exhibition started, I think you might have even posed the question. Mick said that the good players reach a level and sort of get content, and they don't put in the 20, 30 hours a week. They just put in the 5 or 10 hours a month because they reach that level and they know they can get to that level, but it's just going to that next step. Can you improve when you get to, you know, the top level?
Yeah, and it's a hunger thing too. Like if you've achieved what you're satisfied with in the game, then you don't have the desire to continue to improve. But, you know, if you've still got things that you want to achieve, then that hunger remains. And look, a good example of that is Colby. She just wants to play in everything, and because she still has things that she wants to do. And there are quite a number of other players like that are out there that, you know, they might not be at the highest level. I mean, one of them might just want to win their local league championship, for example, but they've got the drive and the compassion, you know, for the game, and so they'll keep going. Me personally, you know, at the moment I'm struggling to find the hunger to want to practice and put the time in. I still love the game, but I just feel it more a chore than an enjoyment at the moment when I'm practicing. Still like to compete, but I also have the realistic, you know, mindset that I'm not going to play my best ever pool without the time put in. So, and that's pretty much what Mick touched on. You're not going to play your best pool if you don't generate the time for it.
And these with these tournaments like the Western National that's come on board over the last couple of years, and the big guns starting this weekend, more prize money. It's attracting overseas players, and the bigger name players and the lesser known players too are putting in more time because there's plenty of prize money to be won over the next few days.
Yeah, and I mean that alone should be a driving factor for me because I like money, but I just can't be bothered. But I enjoy commentating as well, so I can't lose really. No matter what happens, I get knocked out, I commentate. I win, I get money, so I can't lose.
And I'm sure you'll ask the question to Mick after this exhibition finishes. It was posted in the Q&A with plenty of sports are trying to revamp and keep people interested and keep people entertained, and there's not a lot you can actually do to pull to change the rules or make it more entertaining, but something that has come in is the 2020 shot clock this weekend, and Mick had some good points that he made about what his thoughts, and I'm sure you'll touch on those.
Well, let's be honest, he shit-canned it. He absolutely shit-canned it, and it's actually really funny. I never agreed with the 2020 clock the way it came in. So I'm not against the clock itself, but the way it came in, the way it was voted on, was complete rubbish and factless. And if you actually timed the Nationals last year from the quarterfinals onwards, the shot clock would hardly have been used for 30 seconds.
Yep.
Yes, it was. I really felt that it was brought in a horrible way just because a few people jumped up and down and carried on about people taking too long on a live stream on an untimed match. And this is to you, Dax Wosley. Eat a dick.
Is he coming over Dax this weekend?
I'm not sure if Dax
He's
is
staying
coming.
over, isn't he?
He's a bit scared. I've been trying to take his money for the last 2 years now, and he's too scared to come over and lose it to me. So now there's a guy that will actually probably wouldn't mind putting the tape measure challenge on either, because he has not got the smallest cranium in Australia either, the old Dax Wosley.
It's out of him and McCartney, no doubt about that.
And I reckon he'll be tuned in tonight. I reckon a message will come through on my phone within the next 60 seconds.
All right, so what's happening here is we're playing a best of three, Jamie. Obviously, Mick Hill's won the first set. Jake needs to win this set. Otherwise, it's curtains for the exhibition. If Jake wins this set, they'll be playing a race to three in the third set. We've been raffling off tickets throughout the night, and we're going to have a special Scotch doubles with some juniors, but unfortunately, a couple of juniors were unavailable, so we've raffled off some tickets tonight. And Jake will pick a name out of the hat, Mick will pick a name out of the hat, and we'll play a race to 4 or 5 with a lucky winner. That'll come up after the conclusion of this match.
I'm almost a certainty to win that because it's something I don't really care if I get or not. Because I'll be commentating it.
Commentate and play at the same time.
I might do that if I do win it. I'll commentate while I'm playing. I have done it before. I was atrocious at it. I was absolutely sensational at calling the right shots, what I was going to play, but executing them was just terrible. Now, do you think Mick will take the foot off the pedal here and just maybe let this go to a best of three?
To get another,
or
to
do you
another
think,
three.
no, I want my money and I've put in a decent night's pay. I'm going to put the boot in and eliminate.
Yeah, interesting, because he was 3-1 to Jake obviously in that first set, and it looks like he was going to win quite comfortably. But Mick was knuckled down and was pretty intense in winning that first set. So no, I reckon if Mick gets a chance, he'll try and wrap this up in 2 sets.
Yeah, he just missed a shot. That shot there that Jake's just played to just move that red away from the pot. That's an excellent shot because this black was really tough to get on. And now, very available on that bottom left, and Jake's just got a stunned right side of the table.
I might come back later, Jamie, get your thoughts on who you think will win the big guns. Mick Hill's been heavily backed, hasn't he, for a short price favourite, around $1.35.
I will give you my opinion right now. I don't think Mick will lose.
Okay.
I think he will be too clean over the course of a race to 11 in a double elimination for anyone to beat. In actual fact, the person I really want to see play again this year, or the 2 people I want to see him play, aren't playing this year, and that was Woodsy and James Della.
Yeah.
I think James Della would have been fantastic to watch, but that is provided that James Della did put in a full camp for it, because when he puts time in, he's awesome.
All right, yeah.
I'm only going off what I saw last year, and as I said, my memory, I did miss a lot of these matches because I was playing in the Blancs comp as well, but I know Rusty didn't do that well. I think Benny did all right, put up a bit of a fight, but just missed a couple of balls that needed to be pot in crucial times. Woodsy, I felt probably
Woodsy led against Mick Hill.
Probably a bit unlucky, I thought.
9-4 or something.
Probably a bit unlucky, but once again missed a ball that missed a ball or two that can't be missed against that calibre.
Yeah.
Look, Robbo in the final, in my eyes, didn't look like he had a chance to win at a certain point.
What about
no disrespect to the players I'm saying this about either. I mean, to get to that end of the tournament is not easy in such a high calibre field.
What about Steve Dempsey from Ireland, who's new to the field this year and a seed? I think he's in Mick Hill's quarter, drawn to play Mick Hill in a quarter final. If I think he gets through Justin Sage, they're both in that side of the draw. That's a very tricky quarter, isn't it? Mick Hill, Sage, and Dempsey.
I think the problem with for Steve Dempsey for us to rate is he's very unknown to most. I have seen him play a bit some money matches, and I rate him very highly. But look, I don't think he loses. Sorry, I don't think he beats Mick. But it's just how people playing on the day. The real equaliser though is race to 11. Though it's a much longer race. Like you play these race to 5s. Like for example, Alec beat Mick in the Anzac comp last year. First person that's beaten him in Australia. Now that was a race to 4 or a race to 3. Now, taking nothing away from Alec because he's probably one of the best ambassadors we've had for the game and a sensational player in his own right. But if that was race to 11, it probably wouldn't have gone Alec's way. Like the odds are that Mick would have
worked his way back into it.
Yeah, he would have probably pegged himself ahead and, maybe would have won 11-8 or 11-9. I mean, it's just logically looking at the odds and saying, well, this guy's done this and that, and he's this calibre of player. And
all right, mate, I'll let you critique these two champions players' shots throughout the remainder of this set, and I'll try and sell some more raffle tickets. And there's a couple of good raffles going here. The Panther Q, mate, and the Elegance Q. You got one of those?
I haven't, mate. Is that one of the Chinese 8-ball Qs, is it?
That's it. Catch you later.
All right, mate. And still no message from Dax Bosley. Pretty disappointed in that. Oh, hang on. I've got messages from everyone. Jesus. Oh, I don't know if he's held for that yellow that's near the black. Decisions, because I don't think he thinks it's on, but he does have the cross table double, which is probably his only shot. He does have the yellow at the bottom. He could actually nudge the yellow at the bottom of the red that's in the middle of the table here and play it to the side cushion, leave the white hard up against the red. That's another option. In fact, realistically, if you want to play the best percentage shot, that's probably the right shot. But Jake says, no, this is an exhibition and I'm going to layer up. And he has almost canned it. Well, I just don't see a lot going wrong here, really. I mean, this is all... this is the key shot. Screw back, get fairly straight on this last ball. And it's just stun, stun, stun. So Mick will go 1-all. Jake just a touch filthy with his positional shot there. No, I'm doing it live. Tell you what, Craig Sims has sent through the highest estimate to date so far to me. He thinks 91 centimetres. That is basically my head and a half. I was 65.
We should start the book. We'll start another book with Dustin Martin, maybe all next year.
Please. You just need him the way he's playing. So this frame will not end quickly. So Jake just freeing up these two dodgy dead yellows, just trying to get a safe white. Not bad. Restricted mix options to... Oh, everyone's got more hair than me. You're being my official measurer, by the way, because I was terrible at it, so I'll get you to do it both ways. I've just been given the mail that I'm only allowed to measure one of Jake's heads because the other one's too small. Anyway, we'll get away from that for a bit. We'll have plenty of fun with head measuring later on. We'll get onto this frame, which is another tactical frame. I would not be surprised if Jake popped the red over the pocket here and just tried to get the red. So you pot it sort of thinnish, not full ball, probably actually half ball is probably about perfect, and just try and land hard up on the red that's near it. That's the shot. How much will the table move is the question. And I'm going to say it ducked in a fair bit there because he's tried to aim half ball, like I said, and it's drifted. Still, not too bad. It's two shots and does definitely have to waste a shot, but needs to develop two dodgy balls, possibly three with the one near the black as well. Although just looking at that camera angle, might pass top right. Oh, it's pretty tight. I've just had a look at the table myself. But Mickey's eyeing off this extraction. So this is a shot I kind of expected him to play, was to punch this red into the top side of the red as we're looking at it. Fairly thin. Red ball that he hits comes off the side cushion and dislodges the other red as well. In a perfect world, he'll split all 3 of those balls in the middle of the table up as well and then be on a ball. Well, he's caught the wrong side and it's just a disaster, really. He's caught the wrong side of the red there. I'm sure he wanted to hit the top side. And Mick's face says, he's like, yeah, that didn't go to plan. I'll go and sit down over here. Now, Jake, 2 shots, tricky table. It's not one of those, yep, just bang them in type outs. You've got to do a little bit here. Just a couple of balls that are a bit dodgy. They're all covering one another. Wonder if he'll try and pick the gap here and just play the little 2-ball plant first. Or if he's going to play this ball in the corner that's near the black and then just let the white ball cannon into the bunch, and you would think that he'd be on something. I don't think this yellow by itself on the right cushion actually passes, or if it does, it might be pretty tight. But I like this plant myself, but I'm not sure what he's on. I think he is playing the plant. Yep, he has. Hasn't turned out super awesome, I might add. May actually be forced to just play plant onto plant. I don't think it's set, but at least get them all in the open and then clear with 1. But maybe this must go. Good shot there from Jake. Navigated the white quite well. Has a shot. And, well, I would have liked to come at the table another 2 foot to be perfect, but nice shot there from Jake, and made that one his cannon on in a nice position as well. Probably the only bugbear is the straightness of this next shot. He can't really bring the white ball out and get position on another one. So we may see him, he's still got 2, so we may see him run through here and just promote this yellow that's on the side cushion towards the middle pocket and then clear with 1. It's all about this black and how available it is. I think it only goes top right. Don't think it goes bottom left. Actually, it definitely doesn't go bottom left. Only will go on the top right-hand corner. So still a bit of work to do here. Pretty sure he's going to play the shot I said, and that's just a bit of a promotional shot. Might play it right up the top corner. But either way, whatever he decides, I believe it has to involve hitting the ball that's on the right-hand side of the table of the 3. Because if you take on another pot and miss it in the jaws, you've just left yourself a bit of a dodgy ball. So here we go. Is it going to be a promotion, or is it going to be a full-blooded attack of the ball to pot it? It's full-blooded attack that he's just nudged the little black and red. Separate him enough now for this black to go to 3 pockets instead of 1. And I'll tell you now, that will make him feel a lot more comfortable about this out as well. So wants to catch his half ball. Don't want to hit it too fat, don't want to hit it too thin, otherwise white doesn't travel properly. It's not bad. Good angle. And this is one of those shots where you say, I just want to land kind of near the black and the red. Wouldn't even be that upset if you cannon one of them, because you're just going to hold perfectly on the yellow. But you need to know the exact line this white ball is taking, because if you're worried, oh gee, I could hit the right side of the black here, you snook yourself behind the red. So you must know the exact line, and more importantly, you must get the weight right, because if you fall short on this, you've got nothing. So this is actually a lot. It's just a more precise shot than you should have to play. Now the question is, has he been really unfortunate? Well, his face says this could be a bit dodgy, but it might be more the angle that he's left himself than the pot itself. May actually have to load up here, but I don't know why he can't just stun. Nah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, he has loaded a touch. I actually thought he would actually play that with a lot more top and right-hand side, come off 2 rails. But expect him to get this. He'll play it in the middle. And that's in. And Jake McCartney, that's a good out, that. As I said from the start, that out was pretty tricky, and he had to actually keep battling obstacles as he made that out because things weren't turning out perfectly each time, and he had to keep negotiating individual issues throughout the out. So it wasn't one of those ones you can plan ball from start to finish. You had to sort of make a little bit of that up as you went because of certain angles he was getting with the white. So good out. So big break is purely because instant control has been attained, providing pots are red. Mick says, yes, I'll pot the red. I'll show you how to pot that red. Bang! And quite often you'll hear me say key shot to the frame to clear. This is the key shot. This shot here will allow him to get right amongst the balls and make the rest of them pretty much tap-ins. And we all know how much I like tap-ins. Isn't that right, Robbo? Would love to have landed slightly higher on that, but we'll take the plant as second prize. That's nicely executed, and I just can't see an error here. So this is, Mick knows already how he's going out. This was that little movement to the sort of end of the table there and then back in. That was just a self-check. Just basically reaffirming, yes, this is exactly what I'm doing. Probably a quick breath, touch of composure. Even when it really doesn't mean a lot. I mean, this exhibition match, there's no money. It's purely, for entertainment value. And he's probably realistically not feeling any pressure. Still having that deep breath, a bit of control, breathing, it will cut down on the errors in general. Regardless of the situation, if you do the same thing all the time, make it a standard thing, it will just put you in better position to win under pressure. So 2-2, and look, I've got to say, overall, the standard in this match has already been better. bit rough. Yeah, here, I'll get you. Yeah, well, get yourself one as well, mate. Get yourself one as well. Oh, hello. Just CC and dry, please. So another crappy break for one ball, but good for the other. And be pretty shocked here if he doesn't take reds, and if he does take yellows, it'll just mean he wants to give himself the full challenge experience. But yeah, obviously reds. Everything on. Well, he's just overcut it. As I said, the table's not running super fast either. It's the cloth just seems a little bit heavy. It's fairly worn. If you actually look above the black spot there, you'll see those little white stripes. I call it the aeroplane strip, or the aeroplane stripes. It basically looks like a bit of a jet craft as they all start to form. And you always get that big impact spot on the front ball. And once that impact spot starts to form, and basically all it is a build-up of crap under the cloth, like dust and chalk and stuff like that. And because the front ball is sitting there, when the white ball hits that front ball, it obviously has a large contact, and all the dust and stuff will spread under that, and it will just form like a hole. So there's not really a dint in the slate. It's just the dust and the muck under the cloth that's gathering in that central area around that spot. And it's basically, you can't get rid of it without basically pulling the cloth off or replacing the cloth and cleaning the slate. A lot of people put a dot on that spot there to try and protect the cloth a little. And look, it has merit for sure. But at the end of the day, you can put whatever you want on there. All the dot will do will stop the cloth itself from wearing, but you will still get all the crap underneath the cloth forming. Good shot, that. Would have loved to have come another 3/4 of a foot down the table, because he would have had a really nice angle there to pot the ball in the middle and then just nudge this yellow off the cushion a little and just make it available. I don't think it slips into the middle from there. And the problem is he's off straight on this one as well. Like, his angle here goes top side of the table rather than bottom, so he can't manufacture an angle off it either. Can't play it off the yellow. I don't think it's too far away from the middle to squeeze it off the half ball, so might just drop it in, play it long. Just playing for the bottom ball. Still like to know what his plan is for that ball. He may actually play for the ball on the right-hand side first and then play for a back double. Try and land fairly straight on that, why the white ball doesn't move much and it's just automatic position on the black. So you'll see him screwing deep here off 2 rails. No, I'm wrong. He's played it absolutely almost to perfection. Once again, he wanted it to probably come up another foot. He's pretty much where he was before. He's just faced with that ugly angle. But he'll have to just drop it in or stun it a touch and just play that back double. So it doesn't have to do much with the white here. I think he'll play this at a fairly dead weighty pace to the middle pocket, because he doesn't want the white ball running too much. So he's just checking now the angle. He's saying, okay, if I hit this about dead weight, I'll land about there. He's probably about right too. Well, this is what I was afraid of, though, was the old drop snooker. And that was why it was important to get straighter on that yellow, because that way you didn't have to worry about the white ball travelling. It was just going to stay centre table, and you have just a dead straight black. And these are the little things, folks, that just turn into snowballs, and then suddenly they turn into avalanches, and then suddenly you have a snooker yourself on a black experience and potentially a loss of frame, and that is pretty much guaranteed. Any chop up will not happen. So Mick will go 3-2 here. In fact, just rack the balls. Mick's looking at the table like this is a really difficult puzzle to figure out, but at the end of the day, it's not. And I don't even reckon he played this ball normally either. I think he's just exhibition of that, but I think normally he'd drop that other ball in the middle first, then run the other one down the cushion, but it's an interesting way that he's taken these, purely because it's showing a way to eliminate one end of the table first and then the other, but in a different way, because he's using the ball over the middle to transition down the table instead of having to come from the ball up the top corner all the way down. So you can look at it like that as a good shot. And that shot there as well, most people would have played for the bottom ball there and then stunned up the table and gone for that other one last, but that way that Mick just played there, well, that was the correct way to take that. So 3-2, Mick just does a quick Peter Rigo to see how many people are watching that. McCartney's going to win, needs to not do that. I would actually say from here, Jake needs to play pretty much perfect pool, because Mick's going to get another break. Although the break hasn't been a huge factor in these matches, because they've either potted a ball and it's been a bit clustery a lot of the time, or they're just not getting a ball. One thing we haven't seen, I don't think, is the white getting dumped. So a big break, red ball down, it probably will take yellows, I think. It's just this yellow that's on the left-hand side of the table here. I don't think you can get on it to run down, so you want to play for a cannon off this bottom one. And I think that's actually the reason he's opted for reds. And another missed pot, and open table, and Mick just says thanks for the frame. Oh no, he's on reds, my bad. I still think he's going to say thanks for the frame. Unless this yellow that's on the right-hand side jaw there doesn't go to the middle, like it's hard up and doesn't actually slip in, but it looks like it's far enough past the jaw to just drop in. But all these balls are not that hard. If you actually look at this table right now at home and map this out before Mick plays his first shot, you can link these balls together quite nicely. This is the hardest shot on the table right now. He's just missed. But if he gets that, the rest of it, very straightforward. I mean, I am assuming that black passes too, and I've just had a close look at it. Probably doesn't. In fact, it does. I think it will go to the other left, the bottom left corner though. So it might have been a bit premature there in the old easy out call. I've got a feeling Heather might have just found out about the glamour call that I made earlier. She's giving me the old FUC. So Jake's, it's amazing how one missed ball can just put you in a world of hurt. This red that he has missed, it's down the bottom cushion. It is not fun. I think he's actually tried to pot the red into black there. Tried to play the old booed shot there and just flick it in. And then it would have had automatic position on the ball in the middle that he's the white ball's right near now. Might see Mick flick the black out here. A lot of side coming up here. No, he's just played around it. Believe me, he hasn't played for that. He would have got a lot closer to it if he had to play for it. This is a shot I spoke about earlier. I was just wondering if he can flick in. Wow, he's played that up the corner. That's a super shot. Got to play this plant now, surely. Or at least the ball over the hole. Can't leave the two of them till last together. It's too tricky to navigate. This is a great shot. Did want it once again though. Wanted to cannon that a little higher. He hit it too full. If he catches the black a little high, he still promotes it past the red, but the white ball is probably 2 or 3 inches higher, and then he's got a really nice shot on the shallow. All these little things that, you know, when I see Mick at his very best, that's the stuff he does. And now he's just making things a little bit trickier on himself, and you're just seeing missed balls like this. Now that is just an absolute fluke. Jake's had a bit of a laugh about that, but at the end of the day, he's actually filthy. And I don't think there's any doubt now. I mean, you have got this yellow that he's actually tried to pot that, put himself in trouble just to make up for the fluke. I kid you not, that is exactly what he's tried to do there. In fact, he would never have even taken that ball in the middle if he was fair and to pot that ball is right behind the top right-hand corner. Look out, they're trying to sell the venue owner a lucky number. That's pretty rough. Oh, that sounded dodgy. Yeah, he's called 2. That's a good call because it sounded ferally. Yeah, I think he's definitely screwed onto his ferrule there. That was. Now Jake's just wondering if he can get this out. Fouled. Yeah, I heard it from here, the ferrule sound. And McCartney is going to level up at 3-all, and that all was because Mick decided on purpose to go the wrong way. I'm not lying there. He decided to go. I'm going to ask him about it. He's going to admit it. So, 3-all. Will we see a third match? Or Mick managed to close it out and not have a third? And if we do go to a third match, it is just a race to 3, not a race to 5. We don't want the night to go sort of too late. And the first dump of the white. And once again, just one little dodgy cluster to deal with on the left side of the table, but Jake has a red that's just nicely hanging around that bottom pocket to go into, if you can just sort of get just low on it. It's actually not as easy as it looks to get low on it. But he's going to take a different option. Ball in the middle and straight into him. Super shot. Oh, don't tell me he's going to get another. Oh, he's okay. That would have been actually pretty unfortunate to land hard up on another ball at the other end of the table after he's cannoned it. But he's okay. Got away with it. Jake taking a bit of time on this. Just wanting to map the out properly because it looks easy because everything's in the open and it's they're all potable. But there are certain ways to navigate this out where you will get in less trouble than what you would if you went a different way. Personally, I'd be potting the ball that he's near right now over the corner, and he has actually changed his mind and he's decided to do exactly that. And now I just like this to get sort of more centre table and you give yourself heaps of options. That's a good shot. Pick the gap. So you want to stun past centre table, left-hand side of the table here. Get up on this ball on its own. That's a good shot. And then stun that in, play for the middle, and then just get fairly straight on your last red and you screw them back down the table for the black. Bottom left pocket. There is no way that head doesn't go over 80 centimetres, Dan. That is massive. Yeah, that's fine. You just screw straight back. Anywhere where the white is now or slightly closer will just be perfect. And that is perfect. No, perfect's another foot down, but I'm sure he won't be upset. And that is banged in. 4-3. So this is the first time in the history of playing Mick Hill that Jake has been on the hill. Can he close it with this visit? Ball's down. It's a good spread, and well, take your pick. But let's have a quick look. I like, as long as this yellow near the black passes the bottom left, I say yellows all day. If it doesn't, and that red that's near the jaw again goes into the middle, I favour reds. I really do wonder if that yellow passes it. Passes dead weight. So it's don't have a full pocket. It passes dead weight apparently, but so you have to use a bit of jaw. Once again, taking some time on the decision on which balls to take. And he's decided on yellows, but he's tried to hold for this ball that was probably a bit dodgy to the other corner. But just come down a little too far to make this premium, so a good white ball controlled shot required here. This is going to be one of those like little soft screws where you just don't, you're going to kill the pace of the white by getting, oh no, he's just going to cannon the yellow. See, I didn't like that because you just didn't know exactly where they were going to go. I would much rather have dug into that, soft screwed it to centre table and guaranteed myself a shot with not moving the balls were already sort of nicely on. Probably still okay, there we go. But this ball that's on the right near the ball, the red in the middle, it's just dodgy now. If you can get through here, give himself an angle stun up and get nicely behind it. Not sure how straight he is. He wants any angle he can get here, even if it's coming off the bottom cushion first. He just wants to get pretty straight on that yellow so we can run through for the ball in the centre. Get just off straight on that, run straight through. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Let's have a look at the angle. It's okay, he can use the red to push the white through a bit. But it's very important that he doesn't overplay this. If he has an angle the white going into the red, he's gone. And that looks good. He actually hasn't come through enough. But probably can stun off bottom cushion in between black and red for the black into the bottom right corner. That's the shot I'm calling. Because I think he's got too much angle to run straight through. So yeah, you can see him jacking up a touch. Doesn't have to screw it, just has to stun it. Oh, he's underhit it. Oh no, he's okay. And he will win this frame and go 5-3 up. Oh, look out, he's one-handed it. The disrespect. And that has just screamed for an answer.
Second set to Jake, 5-3, 1 all. We're going to the remainder of the raffles now. So
Quick break, guys. Finish the raffles off. But surely Mick will respond with something as leery as that. Not sure what was better, that he potted one-hand or if he had missed it one-handed layering up. And Cam Lawless has won the raffle. I actually think he bought the whole ticket though, and he's still acting surprised.
this one's for a lucky dog, right? $25 voucher.
So Cam Lawless has won the raffle by buying the whole book, and he's so surprised about it. Well done, Cam. Cam's just winning everything.
He'll spend it on you in the next 5 minutes. Alright, this one's Mick. This is for your Scotch doubles partner.
And Cam Wallace again.
This will be fun if he draws Cam and he gets to play with them both. He did buy the whole book. So who's Norm? Someone called Norm. Who's Norm?
I'll wait for Jake to come back. We'll draw. We're going to play one more set here. Race to 3. Race to 3.
Okay, McCartney's just coming back now. He's going to draw his Scotch doubles partner for a bit more exhibition fun.
Jake, this is for your partner in the Scotch doubles.
He's $1.04 to draw me here. Who? Alright, so one of the local boys is named Matt, I think it was, is drawn Jake. He looks absolutely ecstatic about it too, doesn't he? He's jumping up and down. Well, now he's cracked a smile now. It's all good. I thought he hated Jake there for a minute.
So this is race to 3, final set, and then we'll play the Scotch doubles. Matt's playing with Jake, Norman's going to play with Mick.
I don't know if you're just looking on your eye screen there, but that did look a bit gay, didn't it? Just a bit of groin grabbing going on, and what Jake says, I'll open up this set by dumping the white. So Mick Hill will take reds, and he'll use the very first red here to open up the other one that's clustered to the yellow at the bulk end of the table. And then he's just got to deal with this red that's on the bottom end. Oh, he's going to be smart on that. He's going to drop it into the centre. And this just shows what I'm just not seeing anymore. I just did not even see this shot. Too busy looking for the layer up. That's missed. I reckon that's moved a bit too. And Mick shakes his head. So even though this is an exhibition match, he's filthy. He hates missing. And Mick's thinking, Jake McCartney, fix your tables, you muppet. That's what he's thinking right now. You can look at him. He's watching the soccer on the TV. You can't see the TV on your view, but he's watching it to take his mind off that filthy shot. Jake says, thanks for that, Red. Oh, he's come short. He wanted to come straighter. I know it's not critical, but it's the little things like this ball on the right hand side of the rail needed to be the next ball, in my opinion. You can just see the transition if you just get that ball next, because you pot this ball in the corner, you're pretty straight. You get on this one, you pot the ball in the middle, you pot the ball in the bottom left, you've got the ball in the rail last. Yes, it's a tricky ball, but it has to be your last ball in this particular situation. And it would have granted automatic position on the black as well, just with the natural angle. Chopping it in might have gone a little further up the table than what I would have liked, but everything sort of linked together. Yeah, Mick's just got up. Surprised he hasn't actually gone around and had a bit of a close look at this. These two balls at the bottom of the plant. That's not played well. And this is why I felt he should have just gone and had a bit of a look at that before he popped the ball, just in his own mind to say, okay, ideal spot to land is here. And yeah, just be 100% sure that, you know, that's what he wanted. But far be it from me to criticise the world champion, but just think it's just like I said, just these 1%ers all the time that create misses and mistakes. And that's an extremely loose shot there from Jake. He's obviously just tried to finish the frame that visit. But he's got a little result with killing the yellow on the side rail there. Once again, Mick not happy. Wanted to land on this plant clearly, just by his reaction. He's going to back himself down. He knows he pots this ball down the rail, frame over. Yes, well, I'll tell you what, just about every ball we've seen getting sort of semi-punched down the rails have been overcut, and it's not the table that's doing that, they're just missing. Oh, that's not a good shot either. Just a lot of misjudgment going on right now with little cannons and things like that. This plant does go. He's a tricky little plant though. But I don't think he's got another shot. Yeah, well played, but I think that still goes. But the problem is he can't do a lot with the white. Interesting double this because full pocket, slightly obscured, drills it like it's not an issue. And now a chance for McCartney to take first blood in this last set. And I just have to feel that Jake looks the better player at the moment. Looks a little bit cleaner once he gets in. Yes, there's been some poor shots this frame, but once Jake got in, and it was a tricky little out that, he made it look pretty simple. Just starting to get his mojo on, McCartney. Nice little advertisement pun there. On fire. Wow. Never ceases to amaze me. Breaking the balls, just how things can turn out. More than half the balls at the other end of the table. And somehow the white ball is just in a disgusting position to get an opening pot. That's a good shot from Jake. You just sense he's starting to feel it. Yes, he has actually played for the cannon there as well, like a half-ball cannon. But he just hasn't quite got the contact. And left himself, well, actually, to be fair, he's been stiff as hell to Chinese snooker himself on the top-end table balls. But might be able to chop this in the middle, this first red that he's near. He's gone another double, it rattles out. Geez, he was playing for double-double there. I personally would have preferred to chop that in the middle and then play the face cut double on the other one. But it's happened now. Good nice shot there of Mick Hill's queuing action as well. And that's twice he's played a ball up there really nicely, but that one just underhit a touch. But he's definitely got the line right with that shot. And Jake just contemplating here. Yes, pot this screw back. That yellow's caused a bit of disturbance amongst the force because it does block a red. Now, can he blast this yellow away from the pocket here with this red he's about to pot? Key shot. Does get it out of the way and played it well. And I'll tell you that, as I said, key shot, absolutely perfect. And this basically here, the white ball just needs to basically run through just a touch from where the red is. Unless I've misjudged the angle, but I thought I would like to be a little lower on this just to stun between the two, but maybe he has got that angle. He does have that angle. So even that, would have liked this to be a touch higher, and then you've just got a really simple roll in, roll out. Now he's sort of got to soft screw it in a little bit if he wants to leave this red in the middle till last. Or he plays the ball in the middle and then just has an angle just to stun down right-hand side of the table and land sort of near the middle pocket. Which is, given that he's just a little bit dodgy on this and like he's worried about the positional side of things, nah, he's okay. 2-0 to Jake, and well, he looks like he's flying now. Just looks like he's got going. Big spread again. Would expect if Mick is going to contest that he clears here. And it's really weird saying something like, you know, you would expect Mick to get this if he wants to be competitive or contest this match, because you just expect him to win all the time. But okay, I'm not. What's happened there? I don't know if is he miscued there or is he just decided he's had enough? he's got his pay packet. He's done. Maybe 10:30 is when he starts turning into a pumpkin. Not the midnight. Jake was playing horrible early. He's playing good. He's playing much better now. I expect Jake to clear these. Just he's got going. His arm's flowing. He's getting through the ball well, which he wasn't doing earlier. And although this red that's at the bottom of the table, like right in the middle, it's all surrounded by yellows, that he just cannoned and made on like a freak show. I think he made it on anyway. Geez, that's not a good shot. Just had to screw back another half a foot to be perfect. And it's just these little things that creep into games. And the reason I see him so easily is because I am just a genius at doing it myself. Still can chop this in to the middle and deep screw off the bottom cushion and back down the table. And if he doesn't like the deep screw, then he can play the double to the centre instead and stun off the bottom cushion up the table. I just don't think the cut to the corner is on, unless he can cut it and use that jaw like he just pointed. And if he pulls this off and lands, then it will be the shot of the night. He's played it. That is actually, of all the shots, the most suicidal. McCartney has said for about one second there, I'm going to be ISIS. And he has just strapped a bomb on and thrown it at that red. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that. McCartney looking for the 13 virgins in one shot. And Mick will stay alive, I would guess, because he needs to do something pretty wrong here to not, if not get the out, to not be in complete control, but I would expect him to clear. And it's actually funny, if you actually watch Mick now, he himself is actually getting through the ball better. I think he's just decided, oh, I should switch on here. I've given the 2-0 start. I'm going to show my resolve. See, he's even flowing around the table better now. He looks better. His body language is better. He's actually, when he's pulling the cue back for the final feather, it's coming back further and more fluent. It's getting through. Everything is actually like 1,000 times better than the previous 2 frames. And it's really, as I said, it feels really weird saying something like that about a world champion who obviously has 1,000,000 times more talent than me. But if you analyse what's going on out there, and you can see visually that he's not, cueing as well as what you're used to seeing him, and then suddenly he just switches on like that and just makes that out look very simple, even though it wasn't that difficult. But the way he got through the ball, the effortlessness, it was, there was a lot to say about the difference between that and the last couple of frames. Well, big break, but nothing down. McCartney a chance, and he will take reds. He will definitely take reds here. He'd probably make a lie of me and go yellows, but I just can't see why you would not take reds here. Oh, why has he smashed that? There's just absolutely no... I know he wants to get up the table, but all he had to do was stun and just stay in the balk area, and he had a ball over the hole at the top end of the table. Did not need to layer up. And now Mick will go out. Mick will make this 2-all. Very surprised he's not playing this ball in the bottom left here. But he's right, pretty much almost straight on. It's his trickiest ball of all the reds. Now he's looked at it. No, not playing it. Okay. Once again, a lighter question. I mean, he's got that linking ball over the middle there that you'll play for it next anyway, but... I like how he's getting rid of this ball now, because it actually potentially could have caused a problem. Nearly falls onto the table. And the funny thing about that shot, he actually wanted to land neat on one of those 2 reds that are on these closest to on the right side of the table, because they're the tricky balls right now. See, everything else in this other section links nicely, but then transitioning to these is a bit trickier. So still okay, but just wanted to be nice and straight so we could then pot one, then the other. Landed dodgy. In fact, that's really dodgy. So what he's worried about here, he pots the red, but I don't think he can avoid the flick on the black, which will basically kill it to the bottom rail or push it towards the yellows. And not guaranteed a nice transitional shot afterwards either. Yes, he'll probably be on that red that's at the top of the table, but transitioning off that to the next red could be tricky. Well, he could miss the flick. And I think, I tell you what, I think he's held nicely too for this red in the middle. Needs to go through this a little bit, doesn't want to be straight, and he's achieved that. Now we can stun center table. I think this black needs to be pot in the middle. Oh, he's overplayed that as well, has he? No, he's okay. So he can screw back and play the black in the right center where the yellow is. In fact, the angle looks absolutely perfect. The only thing you really do is overscrew and slip past the yellow, but probably cannon the yellow if you're going to screw past. Oh no, he could have slipped past, but he's hit it well. And that is 2-all, and that smash of the ball along the rail there from McCartney is potentially a match coster. It would appear. Oh, they're going to lag for it. They mustn't have actually had a chose who broke. They're just going to lag for the final break. McCartney hits the cover off the red, still makes it easy. And that just shows you that Mick's not liking the pace of this table at all. He's used to the quicker cloth. And for those who are wondering, this is table 1. Big break. Oh, close not to dump the water. Yellow finds its way in its path. It's not a straightforward out though. He does have the option of playing aggressively immediately, potting the ball over the hole, picking the gap between yellow and red and going into the cluster. But there's red at the top here as well on the cushion. It's just screaming at me, I suck because I'm all alone and have nothing linking to me. I can't believe he's taking yellows. The only reason I can think he's taking yellows is, yes, this yellow here will actually clear the red. But still, you've got the black to deal with. So this could be a double banger, this shot. Clear the red and cannon the black same time. Actually, you know what? If you could cannon the very left-hand side of the red that's below the black, and then cannon the black at the same time, like it just cannons onto that, you'll actually get a really good result. I think he's all right. I think he's okay. I think he's made that black on. It goes. Mick asked the question. Jake says it goes. He should have said no to him and trolled him, and then just got down and banged it in. That would have been much better. And this should not be missed by McCartney. All he's doing right now is checking how much table space he has to land in off the ball at the top end of the table after he pots this one. And you know what? He screws right up the end of the table to say, I want to land, I want the angle to go into the big area. It's much harder to not get the pace right this way than coming off the back cushion. Jake McCartney, he will win He will win this, the deciding frame. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that exhibition match. There is going to be some Scotch doubles, however, we are going to cover it because Dan has a 2-hour drive back to Melbourne. But I'm going to do an interview with both players.
Guys, thanks very much. Jake
I'll grab both.
wins the final set 3-2. In the end, it wasn't race 11, wasn't it? So it was 11-10 all up in the finish. Put your hands together for Jake. And to Mick for Scotch doubles for the fairly Mick. Enjoy's been selling raffle tickets tonight. He's going to play with theirs. And Matt's going to play with Jake. We'll just make it quick, guys. We'll just play a race for two. So.
Oh, looks like they're going to play the Scotch doubles first. We might skip the interviews then. Brad, we want to do the interviews. He's got to pack up, yeah.
You have to go down. We'll start at about 2 minutes.
Mick, you were the loser, so you can go first, mate. Whack that on your head. Yeah. Just look at mine. That's it. Right, you're on now.
Right, I'm on.
Which camera are you using, Dan? You tell me. Come here, mate. I won't bite you. All right, folks. We did this last year. We did a bit of a post-match interview. So I'm here with Mick first this time. Last time I was with him because he gave Jake a hiding. Different format, Mick. Best of fives, couple of sets. How do you feel the match went overall, both for yourself and Jake?
We're both pretty awful, weren't we? But having said that, that's kind of the game really, because everybody can sort of win when you play your A game. The better, the champion players can still win when you play the B game. So we had a little bit of a giggle between one another, sort of halfway through the second set, as if like, what's happening here type of thing. We picked it up in the fifth set. The fifth set was actually a good set. Jake was sort of half a ball from winning 3-0. And then, of course, next minute you're sort of back 2-2. And he made a good out in the last rack to win 3-2. So
now, I did notice a shot in the second set where you fluked the ball. When you tried to pot a ball in the corner, you fluked the ball in the corner and then deliberately, I don't care what you say because I know, you deliberately played the wrong shot and then pot the ball in the middle and tried to cannon the ball over the pocket in and leave yourself nothing and got it wrong and then fouled, called a foul on yourself.
All right.
Tell me that wasn't a turning point in the match.
Well,
do you remember it? I know you do.
No comment.
No comment? Okay. Mick did do something similar to that last year as well, but Jake capitalised this year and punished him for it, so very good. I'm going to move off this match now because everyone's seen it here and they've enjoyed it. I want to pick your brain a little bit more about what's coming up this weekend because this is the biggest tournament of Australia. It's the biggest week in Australia for 8-ball. So I want to move on to big guns. The two players, or the biggest player that gave you the most headache last year was Woodsy. Now, he's not here this year. And the other player I thought could really give you a big headache was James Della. Now, he's not going to be there this year. Who's your biggest threats? Give me 3 players that you think are your biggest threats for this tournament.
I think it's the same all the time. You've got the usual suspects. I generally think, I get asked the question all the time, who's the best player here? And I think at the moment, you've got a situation where you've got 4 or 5, maybe 6 players that all play to a similar type of standard, and each player gets a purple patch of 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 months. Now, I've made no secret in the past in saying that I really like Robbo's game, and I don't think there was any doubt sort of 18 months, 2 years ago, I think Jake was playing the best pool. Now, he's had a break from it for various different reasons, so he's not as sharp. I could see that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to turn it on at the event, because it's different. You kind of, when 2 top players play against each other, to eliminate the mistakes, there has to be intensity, and the intensity becomes in the tournament. It may become because there's 50 people watching, 100 people watching, because the difference in winning might be double the prize money or whatever it is, but you need intensity when two top players play each other. Otherwise, there's careless errors made that you wouldn't make in a big competition. That's the difference between the top players and amateur players. The top players, when the occasion gets bigger, they play better. An amateur player, when the occasion gets bigger, they play worse, because they're not quite assured of how to deal with their emotions, how to deal with the pressure, and kind of put the pressure so it's a positive as opposed to a negative. So I think you're going to get 4 or 5 blokes down there who, when it comes to it, it's going to be a ball here or there, a dry break here or there. Usual suspects is Jake, Ben, Joel, Rusty, Robbo, the same people. Now,
Scary, you still didn't get a mention, mate.
Yeah, Scary, Scary, Justin, Steve Dempsey from Ireland. There's a couple of players that you're not going to be aware of that haven't played for a long time but can ruffle a few feathers. An old pal of mine from England who lives up in Queensland now, Andy Barnett. Andy Barnett could cause a few upsets. A lot of people wouldn't even know who he is, but he's played years and a good player. Another lad from my hometown in the UK named Rob Bowen, who's now living in
I've drawn him first
Melbourne.
round.
Yeah, he could ruffle a few feathers. Very good player. Who's going to win the event? I'm going to put my neck on the line here and say if I don't win the event, personally, I got a sneaky feeling Rusty's going to win.
All right, you just screwed up my next question, because my next question was, I want you to put your arrogant hat on,
Okay.
and do you think you can possibly lose the tournament?
I can, yeah. In all honesty, when I come here last year, I genuinely really believed that race to 11, best of 21, get 2 lives up until the semi-final. I really felt like, I felt like I was the favourite. This year, if I'm brutally honest, I don't think I'm as big a favourite as what I was last year. Maybe I'm still favourite because of experience. Maybe I'm still favourite because, 1 or 2 of the guys have still got to pot the balls when it really comes to it. But I really, truly, in my heart of heart, don't believe I'm quite as sharp this year as I was last year.
Final question. 2020 clock. You're going to be at the business end. I don't have any doubt about that. So you will be forced to go by the 2020 clock. Is it going to bother you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm not going to ask why. That's your business. But yeah, that's all I've got for you, Mick. Thanks very much for your
Cheers.
time, mate.
Thanks,
we appreciate having
Cheers.
you up. Actually, before we put that on, Jake, during the commentary, I did sort of make mention of Jake's head size. It's not small.
Tell this wasn't coming.
Now, Paul Hucker was nice enough to bring a tape measure down. So we're just going to do an official head measure of Jake. So Paul, if you can come measure his head. We did do mine earlier. I was 65 centimetres, and that's from going under the chin right around.
Shave your head today too.
I don't think the hair's going to make much difference.
Come on, mate.
So we're just...
That is loose as a goose.
Come on, you've got to get it right around the top, mate.
Come on, mate.
Right around the top. We've had a lot of guesses.
Who's the winner?
That can't be right.
Smaller than yours, Steve-o.
I said 72, didn't I?
Oh, I can't believe it.
71 and a half. 71 and a half.
We're going to say 72.
We're going to say...
How does this thing go, Steve-o?
Look at mine, mate.
What?
How's this going to fit on his head? All right.
Look at that.
All right, we'll get to seriousness
Easy.
now. All right, same question for you, Jake. What was your take on that match? Standard-wise, how do you think you played? And what did it do for you?
To be perfectly honest with you, and probably not many people know this, but probably over the last 2 months, I've actually been pretty injured. Done me back at work, which laid me up, and then I actually spent Tuesday night in hospital with a hand injury, just injuries from an old car accident, which have just come up to bite me over the last couple of weeks. So my preparation actually hasn't been as good as I've wanted it to be. In saying that though, and I know that for a fact, because even in the first set, I don't know if it's nerves or something, but it's probably more match practice that I've lacked. So I actually wanted to switch on a bit tonight, just make more so just with the arm rolling over, and I know I was a bit jerky on a couple of balls, but it just comes out. And I don't think it's, and don't get me wrong, I've never played, the player every, my career, but at the same time, Mick Hill, the guy of such class, you get punished from your mistakes, so I really wanted to make sure that, especially coming to, to the weekend, I wanted to nail him sort of under the pump a bit.
Well, I can certainly say in that last set, you could see that the Jake McCartney we know was here. You get through the ball well, you played well, you got the cannons, they started landing right. All the things that we expect of you when you're starting to fly. And I could see the difference between how you were in that set and the previous couple of sets. So that was encouraging for people that like watching you play.
And I felt better as the night went on, as well. I've obviously got a money match tomorrow night too with Steve Dempsey, and he's the same boat. I know that if I don't play well, I'm going to get punished. So I've got to switch on right from the get-go and take it from there.
So you've done the back injury. You've done the right hand, I might add.
Yep.
Done the strain the old left aorta, I heard as well, and dislocated an eyelash. So you,
mate, I'm in the war. I'm falling apart.
You got yourself in a bit of trouble. But having said all that, it's a long weekend. You're going to be up and down a lot. Going to be all right?
Yes. 2 years ago, when I won Big Guns, I remember just how over the 4 days, just mentally draining it was. Obviously not physically, you're not doing 12 rounds in a boxing ring or anything. But just mentally, I know, if you try and concentrate for a couple of hours, I just sort of felt fatigued. And I just remember I was going back to the room. Sometimes I just jump on the couch, nod off for 20 minutes, like having a quick nana nap, or it's just good to relax. That's just me personally. It's not, for everyone. I know as far as concentration, which I'll be doing it this year, I'll be eating a whole lot of bananas.
Oh, God, no way,
No, it just helps me out. But in saying that too, I do have to be careful because I still am on some pretty heavy pain medication. For pain, and I can sort of say now that, I'm okay, but I'm achy in the back as it stands. But I know, I can't worry about that. It's not an excuse or anything, but I know down now I'm going to play 10 times the amount of pool. So I've got to look after myself, not just on the table, but off the table as well. It is a long event. I know what it takes, though. It's injuries aside and everything, it's, I'll probably prepared. Obviously, I would have loved to have been better, but the way I feel going in the weekend, I think it's probably the best I could feel.
Right, and last question, because I know Dan wants to go home. We've got to get these matches underway. Who's going to win it?
Me.
Good answer. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Shabby.
72 inches.
Come on, mate. It was that.